The Bollywood stage, known for its vibrant dramas and larger-than-life heroes, has become the setting for a real-life plot that defies fiction. At its heart, a seemingly isolated 1998 incident, the hunt for a blackbuck in the vast, mystical lands of Rajasthan, set off a series of events that would echo for decades. Salman Khan, an iconic figure whose name resonates in millions of Indian homes, saw his public and private life intertwined by this single moment. What began as a legal trouble, relating to alleged wrongdoing against a revered creature, turned into a relentless ordeal, testing the limits of her resilience. From the interior of Rajasthan, home to the Bishnoi community, whose respect for animal life, especially the blackbuck, is a pillar of their faith and culture, emerged the figure of Lawrence Bishnoi. For him, the 1998 act was not just a crime, but a direct affront to his most sacred values, igniting a flame of revenge that would consume years of his life. As the words of wisdom tell us, beloved, do not be surprised at the fire that arises among you to test you, as if something strange were happening to you. For Salman, this ordeal by fire began unexpectedly but would intensify, revealing the depth of the animosity directed at him. As we peel back the layers of this complex story, one that mixes tradition, fame, and danger, we invite you to be a part of this journey. Your support, whether by liking, commenting, or subscribing, helps keep this narrative alive and reach more people interested in unraveling the mysteries behind the spotlight. The first signs of this persecution appeared publicly in 2018. That year, while in police custody in Jodhpur, Lawrence Bishnoi made a bold and disturbing statement. His words, captured by the media, promised a violent end for Salman Khan right there in the city where the original incident took place. At the time, many dismissed the threat as the bravado of a criminal seeking notoriety, common behavior in certain circles to establish dominance. However, what seemed to be just braggadocio took on sinister, intangible contours in 2022. The threat left the realm of words and invaded the star's personal space. Salman Khan, the respected patriarch of the family, during his morning routine near his Mumbai residence, found a note left on a bench where he used to rest. The message was unequivocal and brutal. The note not only threatened the lives of father and son, but did so with a chilling reference to the tragic murder of Sidhu Moosewala, a popular Punjabi singer, that occurred months earlier. Tumhara Moosewala kar dunga, the phrase echoed the brutal violence that silenced a beloved voice, making clear the level of danger. The escalation continued, even invading the digital space. In March 2023, a threatening email was received by a member of Khan's team, reiterating warnings against him and his family, forcing the registration of a formal case at the local police station. Simmering tensions exploded into open violence on April 14, 2024. The quiet morning in Bandra, a vibrant neighborhood of Mumbai, was shattered by the unmistakable sound of gunshots. Two individuals on a motorcycle approached Khan's residence and fired multiple projectiles at the balcony of his first-floor apartment in a bold and direct attack, before quickly fleeing through the busy streets. Salman, awakened by the noise he initially mistook for fireworks, a familiar sound at Indian celebrations, quickly realized the true and terrifying nature of the event. He was convinced that the attack was an orchestrated attempt to take his life and that of his family. Although no one was injured, the shooting served as a brutal reminder that threats had turned into action. Bishnoi's gang wasn't just talking, they were taking action, demonstrating relentless determination. The extent of the threat was revealed to be even greater with the discovery of a plot to ambush Khan's car near his farmhouse in Punjab. Mumbai police, in a crucial move, managed to foil this scheme in May, arresting 4 gunmen and seizing heavy weapons, including AK-47s, showing the seriousness of the intent behind the chase. The web of threats, however, seemed to extend beyond the borders of India and the star's closest circles. The incident involving singer A.P. Dillon in Canada, shortly after a musical collaboration, suggested that the Bishnoi gang's influence and reach were globalized, a reflection of the transnational nature of modern organized crime. But the more immediate and personal danger continued to haunt the family in Mumbai. Shortly after the incident in Canada, Patriarch Salman Khan was again approached in a threatening manner during his morning walk. This time, the encounter was even more direct and disturbing. A man and a woman, the latter dressed in a burqa, approached him on a scooter, a ubiquitous form of transport on India's busy streets, making the approach discreet and unexpected. The woman, in an audacious and intimidating gesture, addressed Salman Khan as he sat on a bench, uttering the words that confirmed the origin of the threat, "Should I call Lawrence a Bishnoi?" The explicit mention of the gangster's name turned the encounter into an unmistakable warning. These repeated acts of harassment and intimidation, directed not only at the primary target but also at his family, demonstrate a calculated tactic to inflict psychological stress and maintain constant pressure, a hallmark of certain criminal operations. In the midst of this escalation, the figure of Baba Siddique, a respected politician and leader of the NCP in Maharashtra, emerges. Siddique was known for his strong friendship with Salman Khan, a relationship cemented over years and often celebrated at prominent social events, such as his famous annual iftar parties, which brought together prominent figures from Bollywood and politics, symbolizing unity and community. It was in this context of close ties that the most shocking and significant event of Bishnoi's campaign so far occurred. On Saturday night in Mumbai, Baba Siddique's life was brutally cut short. The murder took place in front of his office in Bandra, the same neighborhood where Salman Khan resides. Armed assailants targeted him, carrying out the attack with a cold precision that shocked the city. The speed with which Lawrence Bishnoi's gang claimed responsibility for the murder, using a social media post hours after the incident, was remarkable. This not only confirmed their participation, but also served as a demonstration of power and reach. The message that accompanied the demand was clear and ominous: Siddique's murder was a direct hit, and anyone who dared aid or support Salman Khan would face a similar fate. This turned the personal dispute into a public warning to everyone in the Star Circle. Baba Siddique's murder was described in the original text as the greatest success orchestrated by Bishnoi. This designation suggests that the target was chosen not just for his prominence, but perhaps precisely for his proximity to Salman Khan, raising the stakes of revenge to a fatal level. The death of Siddique, a loyal friend and influential figure, can be seen as a turning point, a moment when the threat stopped being just about Salman's life and started directly impacting those around him, testing the loyalty and courage of his allies. The immediate response of authorities and Khan's security team was to intensify protective measures. Security around the Star's residence and other individuals considered at risk has been tightened, a constant reminder of the imminent danger. Salman Khan currently has Y+ level security, a significant protection protocol provided by the Indian government for high-risk individuals, indicating the seriousness with which authorities take the threats posed by Bishnoi and his network. With the murder of Baba Siddique, the situation reached a critical point. The dispute, rooted in a decades-old incident and fueled by a deep sense of injustice and quest for power, remains without a clear resolution, leaving Salman Khan, the hero of so many on-screen stories, facing one of the greatest challenges of his real life, firmly in the crosshairs of ruthless revenge. Baba Siddique's death was not just a crime, it was a statement. On the intricate chessboard of power and influence that is Mumbai, where the worlds of entertainment, politics, and organized crime often intersect in complex ways, this brutal act sent shockwaves, reminding everyone that certain lines, once crossed, can have fatal consequences. For Salman Khan, the loss of a close and loyal friend under such circumstances must have been devastating. In a culture where bonds of friendship and loyalty are deeply valued, an attack on a friend is, in many ways, an attack on the individual himself, a cruel tactic to isolate and demoralize the primary target. The Bishnoi gang's quick and public claim of responsibility via social media added a layer of audacity and contempt. It wasn't just a murder, it was a performance, designed to maximize fear and notoriety, a dark spectacle for a wider audience. But why Siddique? While the friendship with Salman was notorious, the targeting of a prominent politician raises questions. Was it simply due to his proximity to the Star, or were there other dynamics at play, perhaps linked to Siddique's own business or influence, that made him vulnerable in this conflict? That's the insidious nature of this saga. It forces a constant reevaluation of motives and connections. The blackbuck incident, although the stated trigger, seems almost too small to justify such a prolonged and brutal campaign of terror, especially coming from someone who was just a child at the time. Could revenge be just a pretext? A smokescreen for broader goals such as establishing dominance in the underworld, intimidating public figures, or even serving the interests of other enemies that Salman Khan, throughout his long and successful career, has inevitably accumulated? After all, the world of Bollywood, with its vast wealth and influence, is a fertile ground for disputes and rivalries, both professional and personal. It would not be implausible that others could be exploiting Bishnoi's animosity for their own dark ends. In the midst of this storm, Salman Khan emerges not just as a victim, but as a figure of remarkable composure and strength. Despite constant threats, direct attacks, and the loss of a friend, he continues to navigate his public life, maintaining a facade of normality that borders on heroism. His decision to increase security, to cooperate with authorities, and not to give in to fear demonstrates a resilience that few could display under such pressure. He didn't hide, he faced the threat, adapting to a new and dangerous reality. The Y+ security granted to him is a testament to the seriousness with which the Indian state takes the threat to his life. It involves a significant deployment of security personnel, including armed commandos, accompanying him at all times, a constant presence that fundamentally alters daily life. This layer of protection, while essential, also serves as a constant, visual reminder of the danger he faces. Every outing, every public event, every moment of your life is now filtered through the lens of security, a heavy burden for any individual. The situation, as the original text points out, became more tense. This is an underestimation. With a high-profile murder now linked to the dispute, the line between threat and execution has become dangerously blurred, raising the level of alert for everyone involved. The question that hangs in the air, not just for Salman and his loved ones, but for the general public, is, how long will this feud last? Revenge in the Indian underworld can drag on for years, passing from one generation to another, creating endless cycles of violence. Uncertainty about the future is perhaps the most potent weapon in Bishnoi's hands. Keeping Salman Khan firmly in his sights is not just a physical threat, but a form of psychological warfare, seeking to undermine his peace of mind and his ability to live a normal life. But as in many Bollywood dramas, the hero often finds unexpected inner strength in the face of adversity. Salman's resilience, the support of his fans and the action of the authorities create a scenario where hope for a resolution, however unlikely it may seem, still persists, setting the stage for the next acts of this real-life saga. Life under constant threat is an invisible but crushing burden. For Salman Khan, accustomed to the spotlight and the adoration of millions, this new reality imposes a forced isolation, a security barrier that, although it protects him physically, subtly separates him from the public that loves him so much. Yet it is precisely in this isolation that a hero's true strength is tested. Away from the cameras and scripts, Salman faces not just an external enemy, but the internal battle against fear and uncertainty, a fight he seems to fight with remarkable dignity. Indian culture often elevates its film stars to almost divine status, projecting hopes and aspirations onto them. Seeing one of your icons face such a real and visceral threat humanizes the hero, making his struggle more relatable, but also more harrowing for his fans. Could there be an unexpected twist to this plot? What if Bishnoi's motivation wasn't as one-dimensional as it seems? The 1998 incident, while real, happened a long time ago. Underworld vendettas often have a financial or territorial component. The criticism here lies in the apparent disproportion between the initial trigger and the subsequent violence. Is it possible that Bishnoi is being manipulated, or that the revenge is a convenient front for more lucrative criminal operations, using Salman Khan's name to gain notoriety and intimidate others? Consider the murder of Baba Siddique, an influential politician. His death may have served multiple purposes, punishing a friend of Salman's, yes, but perhaps also removing an obstacle to other interests, or sending a message to other politicians who might oppose the gang. This complexity adds layers to the narrative. Salman Khan isn't just running from a personal enemy, he may inadvertently find himself at the center of a much larger power struggle, where his fame and connections make him a valuable pawn or strategic target. But Salman, the hero, does not bow. His public stance, although cautious, does not demonstrate panic. He continues to fulfill his professional commitments, an act of silent defiance against those who try to dictate his life through fear. This resilience is the mark of a true Bollywood leading man, someone who, despite overwhelming odds, finds the strength to carry on, protecting not only himself but also those around him, as demonstrated by the safety measures extended to his loved ones. The police, on the other hand, play a crucial role, acting as the hero's loyal allies. The foiling of the ambush plot in Panvel and the arrest of the gunman with heavy weapons show that the law enforcement agencies are actively working to dismantle Bishnoi's network. However, the decentralized nature of modern criminal gangs, often operating with members and resources spread globally, makes the task of authorities immensely challenging. Arresting a few shooters does not eliminate the threat at its root. Salman Khan's saga against Lawrence Bishnoi has become more than just news, it is a cautionary tale about the dangers that lurk even at the height of fame, and about how the past, however distant it may seem, can return to haunt the present. The question that remains is, how will a Bollywood hero, accustomed to scripts where good triumphs over evil in spectacular fashion, find a resolution to this real-life crisis, where the lines between hero and victim are constantly blurred? The answer may not come from a physical fight or a direct confrontation, but from a combination of intelligence, patience, and the unwavering strength of character that Salman Khan has demonstrated throughout this ordeal. The hope of a Bollywood-worthy ending, where justice prevails and the hero emerges victorious, still shines even in the darkest shadows of this relentless contest, setting the stage for the final showdown or unexpected resolution that will define the legacy of this battle. Uncertainty hangs in the air like the fine dust of the Rajasthan that witnessed the beginning of this saga. How long will this dispute last? The question echoes, not just in the headlines, but in the hearts of fans and in the mind of Salman Khan himself, who lives under the constant shadow of relentless revenge. But this is where the narrative deviates from mere reporting of facts to embrace the essence of the drama that Salman Khan so often portrays on screen. In Bollywood, the hero is never just a target, he is an agent of change, a beacon of hope who, even in the darkest of times, finds a path to justice. What if Salman's true strength lay not in his ability to defend himself physically, but in his influence, his intelligence, and his support network? The Bollywood hero doesn't fight alone, it inspires loyalty and mobilizes resources that go beyond brute force. The criticism here deepens. Bishnoi, in his quest for revenge and notoriety, may have underestimated the depth of Salman's connection to the people and to the power structures that, although not always visible, exist to protect his icons. Baba Siddique's murder, although a tragic blow, may have been Bishnoi's fatal mistake. By attacking a prominent politician, he not only raised the level of the dispute, but also attracted the attention and determination of government agencies and police forces to an unprecedented level. In a script-worthy twist, Bishnoi's vast network, which he used to spread fear, could become his Achilles' heel. Every member, every contact, every illicit transaction becomes a thread that the authorities, now fully engaged, can pull. Salman Khan, the hero, does not hide behind his security. He actively collaborates, providing information, staying calm under pressure and, perhaps most importantly, continuing to be the resilient public figure who inspires millions. Your willpower becomes a silent weapon. Indian culture reveres the figure of the hero who faces adversity with courage and faith. Salman, by maintaining his dignity and continuing his work, embodies this ideal, turning his personal ordeal into a symbol of resistance for his fans. The climax approaches, not with a shootout in the streets, but behind the scenes, where police intelligence and coordination between different agencies, perhaps even international, begin to dismantle Bishnoi's complex web. The blackbuck's revenge, the stated motive, begins to look increasingly flimsy, a smokescreen for a much larger criminal operation that is now being exposed, thanks in part to the pressure generated by the pursuit of Salman Khan. At a turning point, authorities, armed with crucial information, orchestrate a series of coordinated arrests, targeting Bishnoi's top lieutenants and cutting his lines of communication and funding. The network that seemed invincible begins to crumble. Bishnoi, isolated and with diminished resources, sees his empire of fear crumble around him, not through a direct confrontation with Salman, but through the relentless action of justice. The resolution, Bollywood style, is not just the arrest of the villain, but the restoration of order and the reaffirmation of hope. Salman Khan, the hero, emerges from this ordeal not unscathed but strengthened, his resilience tested and proven. While the threat may never completely disappear, Bishnoi's ability to inflict significant damage is drastically reduced. Justice, slow but relentless, prevails, showing that even the darkest shadows can be dispelled by the light of law and courage. And so, the saga of Salman Khan, the Bollywood hero, against Lawrence Bishnoi's revenge finds its resolution, not in a fairy tale ending, but in a realistic triumph of human resilience and the effectiveness of institutions, allowing the star, and those around him, to breathe a little easier, knowing that they have faced the darkness and emerged to tell the story.